Behind you, I heard a rasp from the back seat as my car inexplicably sputtered to a halt. I rotated my head 180 degrees and smiled at the man in the back seat. "Oh, didn't see you there." Insert coin to continue. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. The numbers hung backwards in the sky, and all we could do was watch as they changed to 5, 4, 3, 2. Today the media reported a whale found dead in the Amazon rainforest. They have not mentioned the talon marks, nor the lone feather found nearby. When the kid wouldn't get out of the middle of the road after my incessant honking, I got out and beat his ass for the disrespect, then drove off. It wasn't until my drive out of the neighborhood that I saw the deaf children playing sign. The 3 kittens I'd been raising, Loaf, Lemon and Lucky, are growing so big now, they're almost adult cats. The adoption center has received a litter of new little cuties, just 6 weeks old, so I'm just super excited to pick up Max, Millie, and Meat Pie right after I'm done eating. Poor Thomas Jones spent his entire miserable life telling himself, "At least this isn't forever." As he lay on his deathbed, his consciousness fading and a bright light blooming before him, he heard a faint voice saying, "Congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, it's a healthy baby boy." I told my little brother to hurry up and run to the elevator before it closes. I know it's the building's failure for not putting up a sign, but I can't help but feel like him falling from the 31st floor was all my fault. Persuade her to look into the deep well and then push her into the well. Everything would have gone according to plan if I hadn't worn that fucking tie that day. I noticed the rain had hardly slowed its pattering, despite the last of the clouds passing over me. After I realized that the patches of wetness around me were red, I looked to the sky and saw the message. As they put the 2-year-old child under anesthesia, the dentist told the mother that she wouldn't feel anything. Yet the mother had to listen to her daughter's screams from the lobby as they took the front 8 teeth out. My dad left dinner early to go on a night walk again. Since all these murders in the neighborhood, he's lost all his appetite and is never hungry. Matt awoke quickly as a wave splashed his face, forcing him to sit back up in the raft. How long was I asleep, he thought as the creeping realization hit him that he couldn't see the beach in any direction. He watched in paralyzing horror as his feet and ankles were obliterated, followed by his shins, kneecaps, and hips. It wasn't until the steamroller reached his ribcage and lungs that he finally lost consciousness. We found an old elk god frozen dead in the slowly melting ice in the Canadian mountains. But as we studied it, we realized it wasn't dead, just in a deep slumber. The things that hit him were her unmatched beauty, her strong understanding of mathematics, and her love for animals, particularly cats. That was more than enough for the judge to condemn that witch to burn at the stake. The friendly stranger offers to buy me a drink and I say, sure, why not? My vision blurs and my knees give out from under me as the stranger helps me into his car, and I think that's blood on the seatbelt. "Mommy, there's a monster in my closet," the boy cried. I could only hold my breath and pray she didn't check. "My sleep paralysis demon grunts and smells like perfume," my patient said. I felt lucky I didn't wear the same cologne for today's session. After hearing the fortune teller say I would die of old age, I decided to take up mountain climbing as I know I would survive it. My joy quickly turned to horror as I fell off and heard my entire spine crack. My father always told me to never let anyone get away with laying hands on my mother. His words now echo hauntingly in my head as I sit here with blood-stained hands looking down at his lifeless body. I really needed to breathe. But I couldn't find the hole in the ice. We headed into the forest, seeing as there hadn't been any reported monster sightings in decades. Turns out, there just hadn't been anyone left to report it. She could barely move, she ached all over, she couldn't see, it was hard to breathe and it smelled awful. This was the worst hangover she'd ever had. The python stretched across her bed shifted to make itself more comfortable as the muffled screaming and struggling of its most recent meal briefly awakened it. It really makes me happy that you're always here for me, she said with a smile. I just sighed and glanced down at the chain around my ankle. With the key to the door to the underworld, the great heroes set forth. Although they only managed to get in with the second key on the chain.